What's going on, guys? We're going to be doing the Shortlist episode 2, and today it's going to be on the Severance season finale of season 2. So this just took place this past week, so it's pretty fresh in our minds, so we're going to jump right into it. I guess we'll first start off with some of our initial thoughts, and this is going to be all spoilers, so that's a warning. So let's start with Chase, because Chase is the biggest Severance glazer there is. Let's go with him.
Jacob, am I wrong for being a Severance glazer?
No, I mean you and the rest of the world are Severance Blazers right now.
I mean, I feel a little offended being called a Severance glazer.
I
Like
would
it's not the
say
best show on
you
television.
are the biggest Severance
Yes.
glazer, though, out of all of us.
We're all Severance
We're all
glazers. You're
glazers.
just the.
Yeah.
I'm
Half of
the.
us, yeah.
Let's just call you the, and then
All right, I'll start us off hot. I'll live up to the glazer name. I think that Severance episode was the best episode of television I've ever seen. I think it's up there.
Glazer.
I think it's up there. I think it's arguably one of the best. I would have to see a list of a bunch of my favorite episodes. I would have to actually go through a list, but I think that Christian kept talking about how it needed to deliver, and it delivered. Like, what didn't that episode have that we needed?
Incoming Christian with some stupid ass comment.
I don't
Sorry,
have.
that was mean. I'm trying to be nicer.
I actually don't have anything bad to say about this. I also think
Wow.
it's probably within my, I'm gonna say top 15 TV show episodes ever.
Dude, there's no way you have a top 15.
You don't understand that. I think Jacob and Jagger can attest to this, and Jordan watched a little bit of it, but there are so many good Game of Thrones episodes. It's so hard to really, make a ranking, but there's so many off the top of my head where I'm like, okay, that's better than this.
Definitively, right now, I could probably put 5 ahead of it. but
Yeah.
It's not taking away that Severance was phenomenal.
Exactly.
I
Totally-
personally just
totally
am
agree.
not the biggest Game of Thrones fan, but I can think of one that, could be in the conversation.
For sure. And I think there's also a few others that you didn't see. But I do also think this episode was absolutely phenomenal. One scene I want to talk about is Milchek and the marching band, which was just completely out of nowhere. Chase dancing there. Not as good as Mr. Milchek, sorry about that. But I thought it was
So much
absolutely
swag.
it was so outrageous and so funny, and I think it fit the theme so perfectly for the show because it's just something you would never expect to happen, and that's I love that. But yeah, you guys go
My
into
friend texted me. He was like, "Dude, imagine being like a severed guy and you're just a tuba player down there."
Yeah, that is brutal.
It is brutal.
Chase, did you have anything else? Because I know you were.
Yeah, I'll chime in as we go, but as far as the band, the marching band goes, I think obviously I forget. I think it was Stanko who said, or our friend Stanko was saying how, and I totally agree. Like, if you gave me 1 million guesses to figure out like what would happen, I would have never guessed that there would be a marching band in this episode. And I was so excited for Jordan to see this, and I kept saying I want to watch this with Jordan, and I'm sad that I couldn't.
Chase wanted me to prop up my phone and record myself watching it and send it to him.
There were so many emotions that this episode drove. Me and Jacob talked about it too. Like, you laughed, you cried, you were happy, you were sad, and that was one of the funniest things, one of the best experiences that I've had watching a show, especially with a group. Like, I don't know if I want to say it wouldn't have hit the same if I was watching
It
by
does.
myself,
It hits the same.
but I know having our little watch party, that was watching the marching band was incredible, and it fit so well with Severance. It was so good. I absolutely loved it.
Jordan and Jagger, I wish you guys could have heard the laugh that everyone let out when they showed the overhead shot and all the cards flipped up and it was Mark's face and it said 100%. You know what I'm talking about? We were all screaming, crying, and laughing. It was so funny.
It's great. It's great. All-time episodes from my boy Dylan G,
Oh, yeah.
from Seth Milchek. Probably my favorite two characters. Just Dylan G comes out of nowhere, props up the vending machine. I don't remember. I think it was when he either got out. I think Milchek got out. Me and Schnurr was talking about. He jumps up on the on the vending machine and lands like he's a fucking super villain or whatever, superhero. In my eyes, he's a superhero. And Dylan G's just like, "Fuck you, Mr. Milchek." Just every time he says it. He's probably said that line 2 or 3 times in the season, and oh my god, it's my favorite line I think in all of Severance, and that's crazy to say, but. It's so funny to me. And Dylan G, I mean, I saw a TikTok about it, but he's got the same face in every shot. He's like this. I mean, he's incredible.
He had an incredible showing this episode. The note between him and his Audi, I thought was like so
Yeah.
good and so like emotional. Like the 3 points, like first of all, like fuck you or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. But I thought that was so good. But I mean, you get taken out of the scene like right away whenever Milchick runs out of the room at 100 miles an hour. But you get locked back in as soon as he starts reading that. It was phenomenal.
So I saw someone on Twitter say, they were like, I just started laughing and fell to the floor when I realized that Milchick started undressing and running because he was late for marching band practice.
Great.
He's the best. Oh my
So good.
god.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the one scene, which is maybe the most famous scene of the show now, of Mark and his innie and his Audi communicating with the camcorder, having this conversation between the two of them. And basically it's the Audi is saying that he's undergoing this reintegration, but he needs to save his wife Gemma in the severed floor. But in order to do that, he needs help from his innie to be able to get her out. And the innie is basically saying, well, if we get her out, then I'm gonna be dead. Like all the innies were gonna die. So they're having this back and forth of how they're gonna go about this with both sides kind of surviving. And I thought this scene was the best scene in the show, quite frankly. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but to see them communicating back and forth, it was just like a full circle moment which was like building up for 2 seasons. Thought it was phenomenal.
I've been saying to Chase, I feel like all season, like, oh, like I wish we could see Mark S and Mark Scout like meet each other, and like they're never going to, and then they did. That was
Yeah.
great. I also
When
loved in that.
they
I'll say
sorry, you go.
I was just say I pointed out to Chase also. I love during that like the show because Mark S is inside and Mark Scout's like out on the balcony, and while Mark Scout is recording himself, there's like the blue tint of the water like shining on his face while he's talking, and then on the inside it's Mark S and he has like the fire crackling on him, and he's like orange and yellow, and I thought that was just so cool, like the difference between the two of them, and that one shot where he's like, "Can you please just like I forget what Mark Scout says, but he's like, can you just like do it or whatever? Like I do this or whatever." And he flashes to himself and he goes, "No," and then he gets back to Mark Scout.
Yeah.
That was awesome with the fire behind him.
Whenever like they started like introduce that scene of Miss Cobell and Devon, like someone wants to speak to you. I'm like, who? Who wants to speak? And then they were like him. I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm an idiot. I was like, that was so obvious.
Who's about to come?
I was like, who are they gonna bring in? Is Irvin B about to walk in this bitch right
Oh,
now?
I wish.
Irv.
Me and Schnur were talking yesterday, and Schnur, I'm sure we're going to touch on a lot of what we talked about yesterday, but like, where does Irving B fit in the equation now for the rest of the show? Like, how could he possibly find his way back? And I was saying to Schnur, maybe like they'll figure out a way to bring him back through like the little investigation he had going on in his house. And that could lead him back somehow, some way. But I mean, it seems like Lumen wanted him dead. That's why they sent him away. That's why Bert sent him away. But how do you what do you guys think? Like, do you think this is the end for Irving?
Well, here's my quick initial thoughts on that. I think the best TV shows have the ability to kill off or send away their main characters, and the show still goes on and it's still that good. So, in my opinion, I don't know if I want him to come back. I feel like he had such a great story, and I feel like his ending was very, very good with Bert kind of sending him off to save him a little bit. So,
He
I
led
think
him. He led him to the black door too. Like he provided the purpose, the
Exactly.
the
Dude.
directions on where
Yeah.
to go.
And
Now
that
you're making me
more-
think he completed his purpose. Now he's not going to come
Yeah.
back.
I
And
disagree.
I think
The work is mysterious and important.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree or disagree if he's gonna come back or not. I really don't know because who the fuck knows? We got Defiant Jazz going on. Like who would have thought that was gonna happen? But
The marching
kinda-
band was crazier than Defiant Jazz.
yeah, like even the marching band, like kind of what Christian said is like the best shows know when to send off their main characters, and I feel like me, Jagger, and Schnur, our last episode, I don't know if we touched on it, but we've been talking about it either off camera or on how Invincible kind of doesn't, and like no one dies, like everyone kind of comes back, and I'm kind of hoping it's the end for Irving B. As much as I really like him as a character, because I don't want it to oh, Irving B's back, and they kind of sent away Miss Cobell, and then she kind of came back, but you could tell her story wasn't really finished. But I feel like Irving's B, Irving B's story is finished.
I agree.
I disagree. I think there's still so much more to do because like the whole point is taking down Lumen, and they're still so far from that. And now with Gemma out, like where's she gonna go? She's I'm assuming go to like Devin and Rickon, and they're with Cobell. Cobell is now like anti-Lumen. She knows Irving B. I don't know if she'll be able to find him, but she knows who Bert is. She could like go through that. And I mentioned how Mark is still reintegrating. Like he's gonna have flashes where Mark Scout is like there, down there, wherever they're gonna be trapped at, and like I gotta think they're gonna find a way out. And like if he gets out, then he could be Mark S on the outside too, and then like maybe they'll find Irving that way. I still think there's like it just didn't. I don't know. I guess he served his purpose of leading to the door, but like Irving kind of dying earlier this season and then like dying again, like it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I feel like he should probably come back if it's only like for a little bit, but I don't think he's dead yet.
Yeah, I agree. Chase, you were gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say, it makes me worry now because I've been saying that I don't think Severance is the type of show to kill off characters, but maybe like this is their way of kind of killing off that character and just sending him away. I hadn't thought about that until just now, so I'm a little worried for Irving
So
B.
I mean, they technically did kill off a character. They killed off Irving B's Innie. Like we ain't seen
Yeah,
him again.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I meant more so like literally like I guess I
they
can't say
do
ending
now.
life because they ended his life. So yeah, you're right, Jagger.
I know he wasn't a massive main character, but they did literally murder Mr. Drummond.
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Drummond, dude, I
racist.
hate that guy.
And what's his name in the first season? The guy that
Petey
like
too. Petey's dead.
well, and that was what's the other guy that was like a
Um,
Lumen goon?
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot his
I
name.
have no
Oh, I
idea. But he
know.
had like a
Yeah.
blockhead. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that was like
He looked
fought
like
him in like a
Minecraft
lobby.
Steve.
Forgot.
pissed off.
They like Cobell's accomplice. That guy.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I do think, I if they could write Irving B back into the show, that's great. But there also has to like there are high stakes, but this shows that there are high stakes because now Irvin is out of the show. Like that's what I like about it.
I can yeah, I can agree. I think the stakes were already high, but
Yeah.
it's not in like a death way necessarily. Like I think obviously there can be deaths, and they're in different ways, like Chase was saying. But I still think like the main goal is, and me and Chase were talking about this also. Like at the end of the day, the main goal is to take down Lumen, and I think they're gonna do whatever they can to do that. I think Irving B is gonna come back into play to try to do that and help them, whether that results in like his actual death or someone's death. Like I was saying to Chase also, like Mark S and Mark Scout, one of them loses in the end. Like they're not gonna both be happy when the show ends. So like that's the stakes for me. Like I don't know. I guess Irving could
I
be out.
picture like an Empire Return of the Jedi, like Empire, like the bad guy, the Innie Marquez won, like in the end.
Yeah.
See,
Audi
Is he the
Marquez
bad guy
wins.
though?
No. I'm not
yes.
saying necessarily he's
Yeah.
a bad guy, but I would say, I mean, I think he just. It's not black and white. Like this
I know.
show is
Yeah.
not black and
That's
white
why
at
it's
all. There's so
awesome.
many gray lines. Yeah.
Let's get into
But,
that. Is Mark S the bad guy? What do you guys think of his decision to? He got Gemma out, and then he stayed at Lumen in the severed floor with Helly. Also, was it Helly? Or was it
Helly.
Helena? Who was it?
Okay, let me lead off here because I'm very very adamant about this. First off, it was Helena, no doubt it was Helena. But and I'll get into that a little more if you guys want to go into that a little later. But I will say I don't see Mark S as a villain, and I don't see him as a villain because at the end of the day, we've been treating these characters like they're their own people. And I think Jagger, I think you were the one who said it best. Maybe it was you to Sophia, Jagger's girlfriend Sophia. How would you feel if
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend on the outside and you were with me on the inside? And like, of course, like I would choose you. Like, if I'm the innie, of course I'm going to choose you. I'm going to run away with you. Like, Mark S is his own person. Has his own right to have his own feelings and his own way of going about his own life. So I don't think it's fair to label him as a villain, especially since he completed the job of getting Gemma out. He completed the task. That was what Mark Scout wanted. That was what Devin wanted. It's what everybody wanted. He completed that. He fulfilled that task, and I think for that reason, I don't think it's fair to label him as a villain because he could easily just left Gemma there to die, at like a true villain would, and he would have just did whatever he could to just keep his life at Lumen with Helly.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily calling him the villain. I'm just saying it's kind of like an Empire-ish like ending. Like whatever you want, like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you didn't get it.
Maybe I phrased the question wrong. Maybe it's not villain, but maybe I should ask, who are you guys rooting for? What
No,
do you
I
guys
think
want
it.
to
I think it
happen?
is fair to ask if he's a villain. I think people are talking about that right now, but I don't agree with it. But I think that like some people are gonna take that narrative and they're gonna run with it.
Yeah, I don't think he's a villain, but I mean, I understand, they're two separate people. Mark S has his relationship with Helly, and Mark Scout has his relationship with Gemma. It's a little difficult to choose, who I want to, I guess end up together or like work out in the long run. But for me, it comes down to, who's one, who's two. Mark Scout created Mark's S, essentially. So for me, it's Mark Scout over Mark S. But that's just the way I look at it.
I like that perspective.
I think the one thing to me that is like maybe Mark S is not the best is how earlier in the season, obviously, when it was Helly, but it was actually Helena, and he slept with her, and that whole time that it was Helena, like he had no idea. Like he couldn't tell that it wasn't her. He just saw her and was like, that's her. But Irving B, like, who's kind of like a father figure for Helly, who like genuinely loved her, like knew right away. He was like, that's not Helly. Like I feel this like connection, like this kind of fatherly connection with her, like this love for her. And I see that it's not her because like I love her so much. And Mark didn't like feel that. So is it like
I
a
like that.
lust or like he's
Like
like he's
premature
chasing a
feelings
lust?
almost. Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's like a forced
And
feeling of love, maybe.
again, he may not have realized again in the end if it does end up being Helena, he like might not even know again that he's running off with Helena and not Helly.
So
Yeah.
who do we think it is? Because if it is Helena, then essentially this season is giving you the same twist twice in one season, and we'll end up right back where we were in season 3 to start. So is it Helly or is it Helena?
I didn't know the what was it called? The outside adventure thing? Oh,
Overtime
Uh,
something.
Fort
contingency.
bow?
No,
Or
yeah, the
The
whatever
orb
Schneider said,
the orb bow.
the Orpo.
Yeah.
I turned to Katie right away. I was like, "That's Helena. That's not her." This episode, I couldn't tell. There was like one or two parts. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, I don't. That might be Helena, but then I don't know. I really don't
There's
know on this episode.
there's a shot of Helly that looks like her facial expression like genuinely changes when it's on her, flashing the red lights, and it looks like she literally just like they just called and Helena just got there
Yeah.
because
Mm.
she basically had already said goodbye to him. Helly already said goodbye to Mark whenever she was like, "I'm in her," like that's me, like and all that. Why would she come back out there and just to like tempt him again? Because you know what he's gonna choose. Like I like
Oh, so you're saying that they
that's like a
switched
lot of
like halfway
temptation.
through?
Helly
Yes.
was
The
off
Uh,
whole time when she
screen.
said bye.
She was off screen for like 10 minutes too.
Mhm. Why
I
would she run and come like tempt like give him that temptation when she already said that?
so
Yeah.
one thing I saw in like against that is how like in that moment I guess like maybe her facial expression changed, but like wouldn't you see her kind of like do like that kind of thing where her like whole
Yeah.
face
I agree.
twitches and she didn't do that, but then someone was saying how like I don't know if it was actually the actress herself might have said it honestly, but it's like she's standing on this desk like fighting against Milchick, and she sees like Dylan G, who is like family to her. She already see like Irving B gone. She like still has Mark, and she sees all the other people who were severed there, and like there are numbers, like they have legit numbers to fight against Lumen, and then she sees that and is like, maybe there's a life worth living here. Like maybe we can actually win this. And then she runs and like when she gets to Mark, she stands there and like gives him a choice essentially. She doesn't say like, Mark, come with me. She stands there and she's like, you can go and pick him. Like we're probably gonna die, or you like if you want, then we'll fight our like things together. It's not like a forced
Yeah.
thing. So I think that like I was full on that it's Helena, but now I'm like not so sure after hearing all
The
that.
the other thing, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the actress that plays Helena actually in an interview said describing that scene, she mentioned Helly R, like specifically mentions Helly R.
Mm.
So when
Maybe.
people were speculating about it, she said that, and people are like, "Oh, then it's probably Helly R."
Unless she's just like the smartest of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, she
Yeah,
could be
I mean,
lying, but
Unless
like,
if
I
they're
don't
in on it too. I don't know.
going back to Jagger's point of the hallway scene, and I saw someone break it down on Twitter, so shout out to them. But Helly, you can see her as she's coming through into the frame of the picture. and Mark's looking at her, the hallway is lighting up in red. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but they talk about Severance, like the red in Severance is shown as like extreme signs of love. And if you notice, once Mark flips and he turns to her and he starts walking towards her, that he chooses her. Helly, I think she was wearing like a blue shirt, right? I think it was like a blue or like a teal shirt or something. The red light illuminates on her shirt and her whole body turns red. I should have sent you guys
Mm.
I saw that.
I should have sent you guys the tweet, but it was such a cool shot, and for that reason, that kind of, I don't want to say confirms because it's not confirmed, but it all pretty much all but wraps it up for me that I think that it's Helena. Um, I think that was, I think it's almost as good as gone. I feel like just seeing that.
Wouldn't that make it? You think it's more Helly because of like the true love
I
for Mark?
that's what I think. Because
I mean, if you interpret it that way, I guess it could be because of the signs of love. But I think just in terms of like blue meaning good, red meaning bad, like she's turning from physically blue to red.
Yeah.
Um, that's just the way I see it. I can see where you're coming from though, so
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
the other thing is, for me personally, this would be my own opinion. I would rather it be Helly because we've already seen this twist. I don't want to start season 3 the same way we started season 2.
Fair.
I agree.
I also.
I
You
mean-
guys, I've seen a ton of stuff. Like, do you guys think she's pregnant?
Yeah.
I think so. Still.
Because the taking
Yeah.
off of the shoes when you get swollen feet is extremely weird, and that's something that pregnant women
Yeah.
do.
I didn't even pick up on that. Me and Schnur were like, why is her shoes always off this episode? You're like,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
So I think she is, and I think it's from Helena in the orb bow, not Helly in her first time. So that's a complete violation of privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helly or Helena? We're gonna have to wait what, 8 years for season 3?
Ben
I
said
have
it
a good
wouldn't be
feeling.
3. Ben
I
said
mean,
it wouldn't be 3.
Can we give a round of applause for Ben Stiller for just
Ben
delivering
S.
on an
Incredible.
unbelievable finale? I mean, oh my god, an unbelievable show. Like people were doubting the guy after the Cobell episode.
Just Christian.
People is Christian.
No, I mean,
nobody.
no, there
hold
were
on,
people.
hold
There
on.
were.
We're
In
gonna
fairness to
stop this
Christian,
narrative. We're gonna stop this narrative right now. Nobody was doubting Ben or the show, not even me. I was saying, okay, this episode I didn't enjoy it, and maybe it's not, that top tier type of show,
Incorrect.
and maybe like we're gonna have to see this finale deliver, and it delivered, and I'm right back on. Okay, this has a trajectory of being a top tier show.
I have receipts. Christian did text, "Is Severance cooked?"
Yeah.
Question mark.
Is
Okay,
the
so
show
if
cooked?
you know me, I like to play games with people. and troll people.
well,
I'm a
I
big-
will say though. Oh, were you gonna say something, Schnur?
No, I'm just looking at the text. I was saying what Jordan said.
Oh.
Christian goes, hopefully they figure it
But-
out because this week was dog shit.
But if Chase wants to back me up a little bit, we had other conversations where I was saying I don't think the show is cooked. I don't think it's that.
Yeah,
I
he
just think this
did.
episode was
He did.
bad.
He did. And in fairness to Christian, a lot of people disliked the Cobell episode, including myself. Like everybody mentioned, it could have been like a 10-minute, little side quest. But I mean, Ben delivered. Moral of the story: Ben delivered on just an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion. Just couldn't have gone any better.
Also, sorry, Jagger. I was just, I want.
No,
I
I
was
was going somewhere else with it. You go.
I was going somewhere else too, but
Oh.
I was, I was gonna pose the question of how much easier do you think it would have been for them to like execute this, or like how much more compliant would Mark S have been if Mark Scout dropped Petey's name? Like, why didn't he mention? If he would have mentioned like, I met this guy Petey who was your best friend in there, and he was reintegrating and this and that. Like, I feel like Mark S would have been like
Yeah.
more.
I was
like,
thinking the
okay.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
would've
the
helped
that's the
Mark S.
one thing that I don't love about the show is that they feels like they kind of just like totally forgot Petey was a part of the storyline, like after he passed away.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Where I was going with is, I know you have to for the show, but like, if you have Gemma, you have the key piece of to take down Lumen outside. I feel like you should wrap it up pretty quick. Like, I feel like you'd be able to. Like, you have someone who was conscious down there and knowing what she's going through every day. Like, she knows she comes back to this room every day, and she's like, I just want to leave. I want to see my husband, like all this, and they're like not letting her leave.
Yeah.
You got to be able to be like, yeah, we have this. We have so much evidence. Let's get a subpoena. Let's go in there and let's go fuck these people up. Let's go downstairs to the severed floor.
But I also saw somebody else talking about, okay, yeah, she left the severed floor, but she still has to go through other securities to get out. How are people just gonna let her out? Like that doesn't make any sense. How is she
Maybe
just
she
gone?
won't get out.
But yeah, I mean, we don't know. We
Yeah.
just saw her outside the door. So
That was my only, like, maybe not even like negative because I love this episode. I said it's probably like, honestly, might be like a top 5 finale for me ever. Not episode, but like by finales. But like, it was a little convenient, everything. Like he goes to the elevator or whatever, his key doesn't work, and like Drummond just happens to be there, and then he beats him, and then the other girl's there that happens to save him, and then he has a gun that like happens to kill him, and he gets the right blood on like that works, and then like Gemma believes him, and they like get out. Like it was like a lot of conveniences. That's like the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, last thing from me, and I'll leave it at that. But I will say I saw someone say Gemma's innie still chose Mark, but Mark's innie didn't choose Gemma, and that turned my stomach, and I was like
tough.
sick to my stomach the rest of the day thinking about it. Um, and I know it's such a big thing that Severance has kind of tried to push as like their narrative is like love transcends all, and I felt like that was like right on par with what you said, Schnur, about like the convenience with Gemma choosing Mark. I thought that was just seeing her choose Mark and then Mark not choose her was like, oh my god, like just like chef's kiss. It's just so good. It's so good.
What
One
does
last
Casey say whenever she like came into the elevator? She's like, "What is transpiring right now?" or
Yeah, like
whatever. Like with Marcus, I was like
Yeah.
crying at
what's
that
taking
line.
place.
Yeah, what's
What is
taking
taking
place?
place, Marcus?
one last thing really quick from me. I think that season 3 should be the last season of the show. I don't think that they should continue to drag it on. I think they need to figure out exactly what Lumen is doing. We probably can make a good inference as of now, but I think it's time to take down Lumen or however they want to end it and end the show at season 3.
I agree.
if it's still good, I want more. I don't feel like it's dragged right now, but
No, it's not.
Yeah, if they have a reason to bring it to
look, and
4,
Christian, you're like, oh, we can infer. You can't infer anything in the show. You have no idea what's gonna happen. That's why it's so good. So like, who knows what's gonna happen in season 3? There could be a whole nother, plot that's like, whoa. I don't want them to like throw in something just to drag it, and I don't think Ben would. But there could be, he's been planning this since season 1, and something's gonna happen, and then you could have 3 more seasons. Who knows?
I just think take
I,
as
I
long as
agree
you need
with
to take
that.
to tell the
I
story.
agree that there could be reasons to like hold it on. I just feel like this fighting of Lumen in this one building that's taking place is like I feel like eventually it has to end.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
100%.
think
Yeah,
season 3 is the place for it to be end. But if you have reasons, take it to 4, 5, 6, whatever you have to, as
I'm
long
with
as it
it.
never feels like it's dragging.
Yeah,
Yep,
I agree.
agreed.
I don't think it goes
100%.
more than 5. I think that's like safe.
It's
I don't know
fair.
if it goes more than 4, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
I didn't think
Um,
Stranger Things would go more than 3, and it's like
yeah.
what, 6 now?
Yeah, then we
Yeah,
get the
5,
best
6.
season
it's
in the
fucking
whole show.
incredible.
5.
It's
Yeah.
season 4.
Yeah.
I know we all had discussions about how great some of these acting performances have been. We've talked about how Mr. Milicic should probably win the Emmy for supporting actor, and Mark hopefully gets it for if there's a lead role. I don't really know the awards for the Emmys, but we're hoping that all goes down and Ben wins whatever awards he needs to win. Um, but what do you guys think about in terms of greatest finales of all time? Where does it stack up? We did Invincible last week. We're gonna do non-spoiler Invincible. Like we're not gonna say any spoilers, but where do we think this finale is stacking up?
I You want to go, Chase?
Yeah, I mean the first finale that I think of is the season 4 finale of Breaking Bad. Um, I feel like that's like a goated finale for me, but I would have to think of other season finales if you have something in mind.
I mean, I said already, like I think probably top 5 for me. Like you mentioned, season 4 Breaking Bad came to mind first. I think Winds of Winter, Game of Thrones for sure. Season 6 finale. I think season 3 finale of Succession for sure is up there. Um, and then yeah, maybe like
I would throw in
uh,
Dexter season 4.
yeah, that's another one. And yeah, I think it's up there, right up there with them. Maybe like the series finale of Avatar. Like
Oh,
like
Oh
those are all
man,
up. Like it's
that's a
up there
pull.
with those. I think I would put it there just because of how. And I mentioned I saw like the guy Kit Laser on TikTok. Like he brought up really well how it just like perfectly set up the show for like more to come, but it also wrapped up like the season 2 arc perfectly. Like it wrapped up the season 2 story, and it still left more for like more to come. So it's like
Yeah.
exactly what a finale should be when it's not the series finale.
I
Mm.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Even season 2 of Avatar, I'd say, is like in that conversation.
I don't remember season 2 finale. Oh, is
I
it?
nothing touches Winds of Winter for me. I put
Mm.
BoJack's series finale up there. I know you guys haven't seen it, but that is incredible. This Invincible season finale, season 3, I think is better than this, but it is
That's
definitely
crazy
top
work.
7, maybe.
It's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So good job, Severance crew and cast, for giving
Let's
us a
go,
good time
Milchick.
week to week. Yeah.
Let's go.
Seth.
Let's go. Tremel Tillman, I think his name is Tremel Tillman for the Emmys. Let's go.
Yeah. So do you guys have any final thoughts, or should we wrap it up?
I think
I
I'm
think
all
I'm good.
Wrap
set.
it up.
Cool. Thanks, guys. This is episode 2 of the short list. I'm sure we'll have more to come. There are some really good TV shows coming out the rest of the year, which I'm sure we'll touch upon. Last of Us, Andor, Stranger Things. I'm sure I'm missing a few. Even Aliens is coming out, I think, this summer, right?
Alien
So,
Earth.
Alien Earth. So we'll see. We'll see how that all goes down. And thanks for listening.
See you.
Peace.